Hello, and this is Tonya back on Nurses Speak. This is our channel for nurses. And remember, your voice matters. So please like, subscribe, and share to this channel. And I'm happy to announce that we have back with us today, Eliane Bagenstos from Badano Health and Wellness. And Eliane is going to speak with us today about creating your own healthy lunches and snacks. So for you busy nurses that are out there that think, oh, I don't have time to eat, I don't have time to make anything, Eliane is going to share with us the tricks, the tips, the tools necessary to have healthy, nutritious lunches and snacks. So even if you're eating on the run, these can be prepared in advance with very little time. Once you have your ingredients prepared, you know, your refrigerator stocked, your shopping list, you're ready and set to go. So welcome back, Eliane, and thanks for joining us again on Nurses Speak.
Thank you so much, Tonya, for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. Great. So start off by telling us a little bit, Eliane, about plant-based, because that's, I know, your area of expertise is plant-based nutrition. So tell us a little bit about what plant-based nutrition is.
Sure. Well, we're talking about a whole food plant-based, which is basically how our great grandparents ate. So it's a lot of, a lot of vegetables, whole produce, fruits, vegetables, whole grains. It's legumes like beans, chickpeas, tofu, edamame, etc.
Okay.
Maybe not our grandparents ate tofu, but in Asia, they did eat that for thousands of years.
Sure.
And, studies have shown that the longest and healthiest living people, they eat a whole food plant-based diet. They might eat some meat and fish, but it's more a celebratory ingredient. So it's a rare occasion, or it's just such a tiny amount that the plate is probably more than 95% of whole foods from vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and beans, and 5% meat or fish. And it's pretty simple. If you stick to that, you're going to be as healthy as you can be, and you're probably going to live a little bit longer.
Right. So how does the plant-based diet help in terms of helping us to stay energized, allowing our digestive system to remain regular, things of that nature, even with minimizing, let's say, the effects of autoimmune conditions, decreasing inflammatory responses. Tell us a little bit about, how the plant-based diet can facilitate a healthier body inside.
Yeah, that's a great question. So basically, as soon as you buy something in a package, it has a process behind it. It's made with additives. There's sometimes food coloring, there's additives, preservatives that keep the food longer fresh or edible. And so if you don't eat any processed foods, then your body can, metabolize those nutrients way better because they are just plain as is. It doesn't have to get rid of all these additives. And, going through your body into the stomach, into the gut has billions of bacteria in there, our microbiome, and microbiome is still in the studies right now. There's still a lot of it to be discovered, but we do know that the microbiome, our gut bacteria, is important for so many things and so many processes throughout our body, from immune system, from mental health. It's really the whole body depends on those bacteria. And so if you eat whole foods, plant-based mostly, then that gut bacteria gets the right amount of nutrients to stay in a healthy, balanced population. If we eat a lot of processed foods, a lot of meat, dairy, dairy is, everyone loves cheese, everyone loves chicken or beef or fish. It is tasty, sure, but for your body, it's definitely not something that is helpful if you eat it in an everyday basis or even on a regular basis, because animal protein, which is in dairy and meat and fish, they do come with inflammatory markers. They come with cholesterol. We all know what cholesterol does as nurses, right?
Yeah.
So, heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, stroke, all that stuff comes really, as studies show, from a Western meat and dairy heavy diet.
Okay.
So inflammation will go down if you eat plant-based. Your microbiome gets healthy and helps with your whole immune system and your response in general, your metabolism, your digestion. You said digestion, yes. Plants have fiber. Animals don't have fiber. So if you eat meat, there's zero fiber in there. If you eat a plate full of plants, you get fiber, which helps with your digestion, which helps again the gut, etc., etc.
Okay, okay. And what would you say in terms of balancing between eating those fresh vegetables that do have the fiber versus putting those same vegetables in the format of, let's say, a smoothie, right? So if you're like me, you have a NutriBullet. Like, I like the fiber. I'll eat it. I love having a salad, but I also like smoothies, especially in the summertime. So in terms of mixing those greens and vegetables, if you're actually using the same vegetable in the form of a smoothie, are you getting the same benefit from it? Or do you find, does it create the same bulk in the system, right? And if not, then, because I'm assuming if you're on the run, right, you might not have time to eat a salad, but you have time to sip a drink, let's say, right, with the same nutritional value. So, what are your thoughts on that?
That's definitely my number one thing. When I was working on the unit as a registered nurse, or if I'm working behind a computer, or if I'm going to do, client visits, whatever it is, smoothies to me are the best way to have a quick, such a quick, you take a few sips and you're getting nourished. And yes, there is bulk in there, fibers in there, because you're just, the blender is blending the whole fruits and the whole vegetables. So the fiber is still in there. If you would take a juice, then that's without the fiber. But if you're just using a blender to blend up those things, then that's perfect. Mm-hmm. And I actually use this for years, and to me, it's a great way to eat very nutritious and, in the fastest way possible, because you don't have to waste time chewing it. You just can take a few sips.
Right. What you need is a straw, right? Or a cup that you can sip from.
However, of course, the question is what's in the smoothie?
Right.
And this is really a secret formula, or a powerful formula. Use water instead of milk. Okay. Use a little bit of water, a banana, put some rolled oats in there. Slow carbs helps to stay, keep you satiated. Put a date in there. Also fiber, keeps you saturated, sweetens up the smoothie a little bit so it gets tastier. Okay. Put a little almond butter so you get the healthy fats, right. Chia seeds, essential omega acids. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, I would personally put some plant-based protein powder.
Mm.
We can talk about that later. And then that's the base, right? So
Mhm.
water, banana, rolled oat dates, almond butter, chia seeds, protein powder.
What about avocado? I hear people put avocado in there first because something about the texture of it, I think it adds some richness, a little bit of fat, maybe unsaturated. I don't.
Absolutely. Avocado is very healthy fat.
Mhm.
It's also high in calories, which if you want to use the smoothie to sustain you, you need some calories in there. That's great. If you want to lose weight, maybe less.
Okay.
But anyway, that was the base. So on top of that base, then comes the flavor and the antioxidants. You want vitamins, antioxidants, phytonutrients. So add-ons could be to that base,
Mhm.
berries, mixed berries, fruit, your favorite fruit, add some greens. So as an example, a favorite is, mango and pineapple mixed berries, or pear, add a little bit of cinnamon, or pear and kale go great together. Peach and raspberries go great together. Pineapple, spinach, whatever your favorite flavors are, just throw it in there, mix it up. Apples, you can put apples into smoothies, whatever you like.
Right, right. So you
So
can customize it and see that's the beauty of it because it doesn't get boring. You can buy whatever you like, whatever's in season, right? Or
exactly,
even get frozen fruits if you have to, right? If you're like
absolutely.
not living in a place where you have access to a lot of fresh produce,
No,
then
you hit the nail on the head. I mean,
mhm.
frozen fruits and veggies are very healthy because they're picked ripe, they're frozen right there, they have all the vitamins preserved. It's better than buying a old
Yeah, right.
lumpy whatever vegetable. But yeah, definitely, mix it up, change it up. What I used to do is make a huge smoothie in the blender and then fill it into 3 different glasses with lids, bring
Okay.
it to work. Every time I walk by there, drinking a sip, 2, go do my thing. Next round I walk by the lounge, the staff lounge or wherever I could put my smoothie, take another few sips. And that really sustained me for 4 hours.
Okay, wow. That sounds good. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about those protein supplements you were talking about. And, you know, I've tried both. I know there's the most 2 common types, the pea protein powder, I believe, and then there's also whey protein. So what are the differences between the 2 and in terms of, how they're mixed into something, whether it be a smoothie or added to like soups or anything else, what type of whey do you recommend using it and how much?
I would not recommend whey because whey protein comes from milk.
Okay.
And milk has also, besides the cholesterol and the saturated fats and all that stuff, it also has casein, which has been shown to, can cause cancer if it's ingested in high amounts. So I would not do whey protein. I would pick a plant-based pea. There's soy-based. There's different plant-based protein powders out there. I personally take one that has only pea in there because I don't want any additives in my protein powder. I don't want any stevia or whatever other additives they have. Some of them add collagen and also, preservatives and whatever. You don't want that. You want the pure protein. So I personally pick just naked protein, it's called.
Okay. Okay. Naked pea protein. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And in terms of the volume, when you're adding it, I mean, how does it mix well? Or what does it do to the flavor of things?
It's actually neutral. I mean, again, depends which one you buy. Some of them have vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, whatever taste and flavor. I personally prefer a neutral one because that way. If you mix it with your fruits and veggies and you add that date in the base, it's going to be sweet enough, and you can vary it to whatever you like. So
right. You recommend the unflavored one. So that's neutral, and then you can add it to anything basically without worrying about an odd taste, right?
correct.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
With water, your question was how does it mix? Well, it mixes well with liquids. And yes, you could put it into soups or whatever.
Right.
But
I tried using it a little with mixing it, but I realized it needs something else to to dilute it. It needs some sort of diluent, right? So unless you're really using a blender, or let's say you're mixing it into something that has a puree consistency, it doesn't really dissolve that well on its own, right? With just water, I think. So it sounds like a good additive for protein. But let's talk a little bit in terms of the frequency of that versus what other types of protein you could actually eat that are plant-based, like.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually, you're already jumping to my next recommendation.
Okay.
Once you are there, basically, you want to prepare foods that, yes, have protein in there and that keep you nourished throughout the day, that don't tire you out, because some foods you eat them like heavy fatty foods or meat-based, dairy-based foods, they make you tired after you eat, right? You get a little heavy, tired, you want to take a little nap. If you eat plant-based, that doesn't happen, because the food is not oily heavy, especially if you reduce your oil if you cook. But anyway, the point is protein. Your question was protein. And when you cook or eat whole food plant-based, you don't really replace a piece of meat with a piece of something else. Every plant on the planet has a certain amount of protein, even salad. It's a tiny amount, but it counts. Like when you go shopping and you get a little bit of this, a little bit of that, it adds up quick. That's the same with the food. If you add all the plants you want to eat, every plant adds a certain amount of a protein, and so the whole sum of the plate usually has enough to carry you over. Also, studies have shown Americans eat way too much protein. First of all, our daily recommendation is actually too high for our bodies to be able to digest everything. So you don't need as much protein as you think. And if you eat a balanced plant-based diet, you definitely will have enough protein. Speaking of, there are, of course, foods that have more or less amounts in there. Everyone has protein, but certain foods have more. We do know, everyone knows, black beans, chickpeas, kidney beans, cannellini beans, any type of beans, even green peas, they are higher in protein than, regular broccoli, as an example.
Okay.
Edamame beans is soybeans, has a lot of protein. And from edamame, tempeh is a product that has a lot of protein. It's tofu is a product from soybeans, very high on protein. And seitan is actually a wheat product. They take out the protein from the wheat and make seitan out of it. It's actually also thousands of years ago developed in Asia. But these are the staples that have the highest amount of protein and you want to use on your plates.
Okay.
Also, Dr. Greger, if you're interested, Dr. Greger's daily dozen checklist. He is a well-known doctor who specialized in nutrition. And he made a daily checklist with all the things you should eat if you want to be the healthiest and longest living as possible. And so on that checklist is daily amounts of vegetables, greens, whole wheat, beans or legumes, nuts and seeds.
Nuts and seeds, right. I
Yeah.
was just gonna ask you also to talk a little bit about the nuts and seeds, because I know that that's definitely a great snack, for those who don't have allergies to any particular type of, nuts. But in terms of calories and quantities, do you suggest that it's good to eat a little nuts every day, or should it be something that we just do, every so often? Because, and then what types of nuts? Because I'm a huge nut fan. I'll eat almonds, cashews, peanuts, pistachios, you name it.
That's great.
I like nuts. I really do. But I'm trying to balance, like, which ones are the better ones to eat? Which ones should I tend to like not include so much? Oh, and I forgot macadamians
Oh,
are my
yes.
favorites.
Very good.
So yeah, tell us a little bit about, how we can balance our plant-based diet with our nuts.
Sure. Well, nuts are great because they have fat, a lot of fat, which we need as well, right? We can't live without fat, but it's a healthy fat. And they all have a lot of other vitamins that we need as well. But nuts are also super high in calories. So
Mm,
if you don't want to gain too much weight, you don't want to eat too much nuts. Or if you want to lose some weight, don't eat more than a handful of nuts a day.
okay.
And you can
Good.
eat any type of nuts you like. Peanuts are known to have some sort of fungus on them,
Mm,
from storage. But, if you buy a good quality
right.
unsalted.
Unsalted, right? Now, does it matter if the nuts are roasted or raw?
It it is a little healthier if it's raw, but it's more tastier if it's roasted. So
Yeah, right. Well, I guess you can mix them up every so often, right? If you're
yeah,
just gonna have a small amount.
exactly.
Yeah, so before we wrap up, and this has been great, great. We're learning so much from this conversation. Tell us, what would be on a typical shopping list, right? So let's say we want to prepare our plant-based meal for a week.
That's
What
exactly.
are the basic things that we should always have in our refrigerator or in our pantry, as staples to sustain us with this plant-based modality?
Good question. And that brings me to the other point we wanted to also touch on. What do you bring for lunch? Um, so everyone knows, I'm sure, the Buddha bowl, right? Do you know what a Buddha bowl is?
I've heard of it, but I haven't had it very often.
Or have you heard of a macrobiotic bowl?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So the concept is really the same. It's basically you mix together on a plate or on a bowl or in your lunchbox the following ingredients. It's basically the same thing like Dr. Greger recommends. It's whole grains. That could be brown rice, quinoa, buckwheat, millet, barley. There's tons of different options. So whole grains, legumes. That's again black peas, black-eyed peas, kidney beans, chickpeas, edamame, cannellini beans, navy beans, any type of beans, the red beans, tempeh tofu. Then your favorite veggies and make it colorful. Choose all the colors in the rainbow because every color in every vegetable has different antioxidants and phytonutrients. So you want to benefit from all of the different ones. Any type of your favorite vegetables. Potatoes, sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, they're great. Greens are some of the healthiest foods available on the planet. Spinach, kale, Swiss chard, arugula, you name it. Nuts and seeds and sauces. With the sauces, if you have that at hand, it's easier to prepare something on the quick. However, choose some sauces that are, as has as little oil as possible,
Okay.
no preservatives and all that stuff. So it's good to also make your own sauces. You can make them. So I would recommend batch cook once a week. On the weekend, when you have some time and you're cooking a nice Sunday dinner, cook also on the side some things for the week. So prepare some whole grains, put them in the container, prepare a few sheets of oven roasted vegetables, wash up some greens, put them in the fridge. So you just have to pick them out and put them on in the box, etc. So then throughout the week, you just make your own lunchbox by grabbing what you prepared, a little bit of this, and you can mix it up too. So it's not every day the same combination, right?
Right.
So does that answer the question?
Yeah. No, I mean, that's great. That's excellent. I mean, this is very, easy, simple to follow. I actually am amazed because I felt like, wow, taking on a different way of eating can sometimes be a challenge, but you actually, presented it in such a very easy and simple way that, we can all incorporate this into our, existing lifestyle, which is great. And not to mention, healthy eating is a big part of self-care because we know we can't feel good if we don't eat good. Right? So
Absolutely.
definitely we got to feel good on the inside in order to, help facilitate all the things that we need to get done. And not to mention, a healthy diet gives us a healthy body system, healthy skin, that youthful glow that we all have begins to come out more naturally. So you have to spend less money on cosmetics, right? When you start eating good, you don't have to stress so much about what you put on your face because everything within you is coming out.
Absolutely. You're glowing. Your skin is going to glow.
That's right. You're going to glow. You're going to glow. And your
Especially
vision's going to improve and your breathing's going to get better and all kind of spectacular things are going to take place. So thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming back.
Thank you.
And I know we have some other topics to talk about. We talked about, doing a segment on travel nursing. So, let's reunite and go through that. Because it's still a big deal right now. I won't get too much into it, but,
Yes.
there's a lot of people hating on what the travel nurses are making right now. So again, that's part of the whole toxicity in the system, but we're going to weed things out one at a time, one topic at a time. We're going to go through it all. So thank you so much, Eliane. And again, if you're in West Palm Beach, Florida, make sure you check out Eliane at Badano Health and Wellness for massage therapy, personal training sessions, and plant-based nutrition education. She's doing consulting on all of that. So please take advantage. I trust you. She's wonderful. You don't want to miss out.
Oh, thank
Book
you.
your session. And until next time, like, subscribe, and share to Nurses Speak. This is Tonya, thanking you for joining us once again. And thank you, Eliane, for coming back and spending your time with us this afternoon. It was really a pleasure talking to you again.
Thank you.
And Happy New Year and much success in 2022.
Thank you so much, Tonya.
You're welcome.